Steep Steps is a difficult game. Hell, this game is a masterclass in how to feel nothing but pain and anger.
You are over-exaggerating, Al. This game is hard, but it doesn't turn people into sociopaths.
Over-exaggerating, you say? Well, let's take a view to the group wall.
I've died out of nowhere, thanks.
I can't even pass first stage. This game sucks so good, your aware is better.
Jandal, make everything easier or else you're dead.
And due to this, there has been one question that has been ground zero for many arguments. This question is, what is the hardest Steep Steps challenge? Some say that completing grassy grounds is the most brutal thing a climber can do in this game. Others, on the other hand, claim that having the galaxy ladder in your inventory is the proof that you have conquered this game, or even more recently, some say that obtaining the newest ladder is the ultimate quest in game. And all of those answers can be true. However, in my personal case, I feel that there's a quest related with this game that has been looked aside, mainly because it's not an in-game challenge, and is such a shame because it is in fact the most brutal thing a Steep Steps player can do. Today I present you the hardest Steep Steps challenge, or better said, Steep Steps Sierra Trail. Steep Steps Sierra Trail is part of the well-known Elite Laddering. This is a sub-community of Steep Steps fan games made to either replicate or even improve the ideas that appear in the main game. Sierra Trail is one of these fan games. It was created by a group of quite important members of the community, such as Min, the creator of the Snowflake Ladder and Hoax, and also two other people, Boyster and Choice. The idea of Sierra Trail was conceived very long ago. To be exact, the moment the feature Pay to Get Your Ladder Back was added. Many people disliked this feature when it came out, since it felt like a pay-to-win update only made for the purpose of getting easy robux from the players. Min and his friends heard the complaints and decided to try and make a new version of Steep Steps that could have everything that did the main game good. And not only would they remove the bad, but also expand the game with new original ideas and mechanics. Obviously, this project is at the end of the day a hobby. So of course, don't expect weekly updates, since Sierra Trail doesn't have the resources the original game has.
But all the f***ing holler. Why do you consider this fan game as the ultimate Steep Steps challenge? After all, this is just some Steep Steps copycat, right? There's nothing that's special about this game. It's just some fan game to play if you miss old Steep Steps, right? How can it be harder than what we already have in the main game? It can't be that good if it's just a fan game.
And to that I say, oh boy, we are in for a treat. Sierra Trail is not only amazing at replicating what did the main game so popular, but also takes things a step further, creating and using its own ideas, and also adding a layer of strategy not even the original game has. There's tons of good stuff in this game, so I'm gonna subdivide this category in order to talk more deeply about each good thing. Starting with one of the biggest complaints that can be heard about steep steps nowadays is how they lost their essence. Many are the OG players who claim that steep steps doesn't feel like it used to. And to be fair, I understand this complaint. For the better or for the worse, is a fact that climbing starting steeps just feels different than climbing any of the other mountains. Starting steeps feels like an adventure. It irradiates a feeling of mystery and challenge that makes the climb all the way more magical. On the other hand, both Grassy Grounds and Wild West feel more like your typical Roblox obby. Despite my efforts, I really couldn't pin down a specific reason of why this happens, it just does. And let me tell you, if you are one of those people who miss what the old steep steps felt like it, then Sierra Trail is a game for you. This game was made with the idea of preserving that lost essence of steep steps, and let me tell you, it does an amazing job at it. The locations feel alive. Each NPC feels like a real tenant of the mountain, giving you small lore pieces and being unique in their own way. They don't feel like bots who are just there to give you a mission. Each one of them has something to say or do. Like for example, in the third section of the game you were told that a giant storm froze the entire place, and that they still need to take the snow away, conveniently. This is section where ice appears. It is such a cool detail that gives the appearing of ice a reason, instead of just appearing out of nowhere. Or for example, many ladder maneuvers here are taught by an NPC, like the reversal ladder bridge maneuver. In the main game you had to come out with these maneuvers by your own, but in here, each one of them have an introduction, which is amazing.
Slow down, my brother. Do you have Alzheimer, you stupid pinky-dressed ladder freak? Your video is literally called The Hardest Steep Steps Challenge. How the fuck gonna be this game hard? It has freaking tutorials. Oh my god, there's no way this game is hard.
No, the title of the video wasn't clickbait. I really mean it. This is possible, one of, if not the most, hard quests that you'll face in a steep steps game. Alright, I'm adding this a bit later, because Steep Steps just released Mountain 2.
Pero que hijos de sus chingadas vergas es esta mierda.
And oh sweet mother of Lord. What the f is this? There's no way this was made having humans in mind. I am 100% sure this fucking jump at 73 meters wasn't tested. Bro, not even Yaku could beat it. If this guy cannot beat something steep steps related, then turn off your computer and go play lottery. Because there's a higher chance you'll hit jackpot there than in here, but since it can be more easily beaten if you have nerd ladder, I won't count it as the hardest. Returning to the video. Unlike steep steps, the obstacles here have been way more thought out in terms of how to solve them. This means that the obstacles you'll find only have one way to be surpassed, and using your knowledge acquired throughout your climb, you'll have to deduce the correct method to overcome the obstacle. This can be better or worse depending on who you ask, since steep steps allows the player multiple solutions, allowing a bigger freedom and creativity when climbing. However, what Sierra Trail does is make the game harder, since here there's no alternative method to surpass anything. You'll have to do everything in a certain specific way. Sierra Trail has currently 400 meters of altitude to be climbed, divided in 4 sections of 100 meters each. The first 2 sections are simply hard. The third section is hellish. And the last section, oh boy, the last section, is what I like to call And as you may guess, the sections are not short, since they are inspired in the long starting steps section, so trust me, you will be a while in each one of these. In fact, I'm so sure that this may be the hardest steep steps challenge to complete, that I'm going to be hosting a little contest, from the date of this video being published, 9 of September, 2023. The first 4 people to send me via Gmail a photo of their avatar sitting in the bench located at 400 meters of altitude in Sierra Trail will get 100 robux. So, if you are really as skilled as you think, and also want 100 robux for free, make sure to climb this mountain as soon as possible. Sierra Trail is a love letter to steep steps and its community. This game never forgets for a second that they're a fan game of steep steps, being full of references, not only to the main game itself, but also to its community. Multiple important members appear in this game as NPCs. From the creator of Trampoline Towers, creator of another elite laddering game, to some of Steep Steps administrators appearing in-game. And aside the NPCs, the game has also references in other forms. Like for example, having the deleted tutorial stage the original game had. Or even having ladders inspired in Steep Steps ladders. Up to this point, Sierra Trail may look like a perfect fan game, and it almost is. However, there are a few negative things I've found while playing, and I feel that it would be unfair to not talk about them, so let's go with. It's impossible to make a perfect game. No matter what, there's always something that can be either improved or that may not be as good as it should be. My biggest complaint with Sierra Trail is that it's too big of parts where, if your ladder falls, you'll have to repeat a big section all over again. I'm aware this is done for difficulty purposes, but I kinda feel it's a cheap method to make something hard. Steep Steps also had some of this sections, but most of them didn't made you go backwards that much, maybe 5 or 10 meters. But in here, oh my god, there are parts where if your ladder falls, you'll have to repeat half of the entire section, and as I mentioned previously, they're not short. And also, in Steep Steps these types of sections were divided. But in Sierra Trail there are way too many, especially for only having 400 meters. And that's pretty much it. Yup, that's literally the one thing that annoyed me in Sierra Trail. The rest of the stuff in game is either good or straight up masterful, and now, ladies and gentlemen, for the final conclusion. Sierra Trail may be one of the best fan games I've seen in Roblox. Seriously, this game is the Day Shifted Freddy's from the Five Nights at Freddy's saga, and those who know about Day Shifted Freddy's know that there's no higher compliment for a fan game than being compared to Day Shifted Freddy's. This game is a love letter to the main game, that also manages to shine for its own uniqueness. I'm giving Steep Steps Sierra Trail a 9 out of 10. One of the best grades I've given to any games I have reviewed in this channel. Although remember that, this grade is for the point of view of a fan game. If you don't like the main Steep Steps, then this game is not for you. On the other hand, if you are a Steep Steps fanatic, then my guy, Sierra Trail is a game you just have to play. If you want to play Sierra Trail, then is your lucky day, since there's a Discord server dedicated to it, that you'll find in the description. Is very useful, since for completing other Steep Steps fan games you can obtain unique ladders in Sierra Trail, so I'll leave it there if you want to check it out, and also, remember that if you are seeing this video near the day it was published, there may be a chance you can participate in the contest, since the first 4 people to send me a photo of their user at 400 meters of Sierra Trail to this email, will get 100 robux. Anyways, fellow bacons, this is all for today. Remember to like and subscribe, and good night.